3rd and 3. So they'll come up 1st and 10 now from the 33. They'll start this drive out on the ground. And he is met quickly in the backfield. Down he goes, folded like a lawn chair. It'll go as a loss of a yard on the game's first play. 2nd down. Now, this defense for the Bengals, they were terrific last week in the victory over Buffalo.
And every defensive team that we talk to, they spend a lot of time talking about creating turnovers. And anytime you get 2 or more in a game, you've had a really good performance. They exceeded that number in a huge way. They got the football back 4 times in the win.
Looking to throw on 2nd down. Bryant. Quick hitter here. It's complete. It'll go as a gain of 4. 3rd and 7 now.
Oh, I see you nodding your head along with me, partner, because it's pretty obvious what they were trying to do there on the drag route. With his speed, they're hoping he can turn the corner and maybe take this to the house. But that was excellent work defensively to make sure once he caught it, he wasn't going anywhere.
A tough spot here on their opening drive. This is 3rd and 7.
19 tight, 19 tight.
Operating from the gun, Bryant. Looking left side, and it's complete. And they're going to get this down inside the 20.
Things are looking pretty darn good on this first drive, aren't they? Came right out, set the tone, this time with a big pass play.
And if the peek behind the curtain that they gave us for their game plan, I don't think that's going to be the last one we see.
I think you're exactly right about that.
So the big play means just like that, they'll operate from the red zone now on 1st down. Now a handoff as they run left side. And so close, he gets it to the 1. Out of bounds right there. Another big hitter there. This one good for 18. They've taken this opening kickoff and marched it right down the field defensively. Not much resistance.
And that's the point, because my admiration is for the guys moving the ball right now. They know what they're doing. Their plan is working. But I flip it over and watch and say, okay, what are you going to do to change things up? Because if you don't, they're going to put that ball in the end zone real soon.
Running game working. Nelson nowhere to go. Here he lost the football. And the Bengals grab it. And he's got daylight. It's a foot race. He's at the 40, 20, 10, 5. And this is taken into the end zone. A fumble recovery and a Cincinnati touchdown. How about that for a momentum swing? You had it goal to go. Not only do you cough it up, but they pick it up and return it all the way for a touchdown.
And now you have to give oxygen to the entire team, because what a letdown that was. Terrific drive. Looked like you're going to get points. Instead, the other team registers them on the scoreboard.
Extra point by McPherson, up and good. And that makes the score 7-0. So here's the kickoff now as they'll get it again following that fumble return for a score. He will return this from deep in the end zone. And the decision to come out of the end zone is going to cost him 5 yards as he's taken down right at the 20. The Lions offense ready to kick off their next drive. So, Charles, the season winding down, the playoffs obviously not in their future. As they look ahead to the offseason, what spots do they maybe need to fill?
Well, I think that they like the guy who's called.
Trying to get it to Williams, but it's intercepted. And the Bengals are going to take possession of the football. And now, Charles, they're working with a short field, a chance to make this a 2-score game. And these guys haven't even worked into a lather yet here in the first quarter.
Yeah, how about that? You score, you take it away, get an excellent return, and now you've got a chance to go up 2 scores in this game.
Mixon with a first down carry. And he'll take this inside the 20 and down to the 18. 2 yards on the carry there, and it'll be second down.
Sometimes you're aligned perfectly and the play comes to you, and sometimes you got to cover some ground to go make the play, as we just saw there.
We saw a great example of perseverance right there on that play.
Got to be careful. They might want to throw one over his head as this game progresses.
On one, ready?
The last run got a couple. Here's 2nd and 8. Once again, they run with Mixon. Trucks over him. And now they're inside the 10 as he's brought down at the 9. It's an 8-yard pickup, and it leads to a 1st and goal. Charles, they won last week despite him not running the ball well. They told us need to get him going. Runs like that help.
And they talked to us about leaning on him because, as you noted, last week they didn't have to. Still won the ball game. They leaned on other people to give them the yardage that they needed, but they really want him to be that guy, and that's what they're doing early in this game.
They'll give it to Mixon, and they'll lose yardage here. They go backwards to the 13-yard line. Yikes, a 4-yard loss really sets them back now for 2nd down.
That was a terrific play, causing a loss. As a middle linebacker, simple. You can either fill holes or you can attack them, as he did there.
So 1st down went the wrong direction. They're at the 13-yard line. Here's 2nd and goal. Throw left side complete. That's James. Touchdown, Bengals. A great play there. Hitting double digits with his 10th touchdown of the season. And the Bengals have taken a 2-touchdown lead now. Extra point by McPherson, up and good. And it's now 14-0.
14. Lions, nothing.
After the touchdown, McPherson on to kick this one away. From deep in the end zone, he's going to bring this out. And he's probably realizing he should have stayed in the end zone as he can only muster a return to the 14-yard line. The Detroit offense ready to begin their drive. And for this offense, Charles, you got to think kind of crucial here to put something together on this drive, because remember last time out they threw the interception on the very first play.
And you can't afford to let this defense keep building any more momentum. They're playing awfully well, and they're awfully confident right now. To me, it's time to attack and take some of that momentum back, but make sure you're selective in doing so. Understand where you want to throw the football and make sure it's open before the ball leaves your hands.
Off play action. Bryant puts it on the carpet. It's out, and the Bengals grab it. There's some space here, and his guys are going to get the football at the 28-yard line. This defense, Charles, very opportunistic here early. A second fumble recovery in this first quarter of play.
Yeah, you mentioned the right word, opportunistic and aggressive, because once they got the first fumble recovery, they were eager to get a second one, and sometimes they just come in bunches. On the flip side, they've got to figure out how to hold the ball because the play calls seem to be okay. They're just not executing.
On one, ready?
First down. Here's Burrow. Flushed out right. Nothing open downfield, so he'll throw it away.
They started this drive backed up against the wall by the turnover. But I love their fight. Planted their feet and forced the incompletion on first down.
On one, ready?
So now they'll come up on 2nd and 10, once again from the 28. Mixon will go off tackle left. And he's brought down at the 24 after a gain of 4. We haven't seen much from him running the football here in this first quarter.
No, you're right about that. We haven't seen much of him at all so far. They've stacked him up pretty well, but When you're trying to run the football, sometimes you got to play the long game. Keep handing it to them, and some of those runs that aren't working now, they turn into 6, 7, 8, and maybe more later on.
They haven't made much of this great starting field position they had. Here's 3rd and 6. They're passing here. Joe Burrow toward the sideline, and he will have the first down as he was able to keep the feet in bounds. It's a 7-yard gain and good enough to move the chains. A pretty sizable deficit here in the first quarter. This defense probably need to get off the field in those situations on 3rd down.
And you and I both know in this huddle before that last 3rd down play, that's exactly what they talked about. Let's make a play. Let's get off the field. Let's reverse the momentum. Instead, they got hit with another first down, almost back to the drawing board.
They'll send a receiver in motion left. They snapped that at 1. Now it's Burrow. Oh, the ball comes out on the hit, but they'll say it's incomplete.
Partner, what we're seeing so far is the defense is certainly coordinated. Both levels doing their jobs in tandem. The back helping the front helping the back. The pressure got home on that last play and forced him to try and throw through contact and short of the sticks.
On 1, right?
So after the incompletion on first, now 2nd and 10.
Hey, we gotta go score.
Burrow going to give this to Mixon. And all the way down inside the 5 to the 4. The pickup goes for 13 and sets him up 1st and goal.
Usually we see runs like this as the defense breaks down later in the game, but this guy is setting the tone early, running through all types of tackles and put the defense back on its heels.
Here we go.
They'll come out in the pistol. Back to Mixon on 1st down. And he is in. Touchdown, Bengals. Joe Mixon hitting double digits with his 10th rushing touchdown on the year. And the Bengals take a 3-touchdown lead. Some good running there at the end of the drive. He had the burst that set up the 1st and goal, and then one play later, he's in the end zone.
Brandon, what I liked about that sequence is I'm not sure who made the play call, but they understood the situation, understood the momentum. A nice hard-charging run, give it right back to him, and let him cap things off.
Evan McPherson, the kickoff for Cincinnati.
So how about this for a start? 21-0 here in the first as they kick this one away. This will be returned from deep in the end zone. And in hindsight, probably should have taken a knee as he only gets this out to the 16-yard line. The Lions offense ready to kick off their next drive. Well, CD, you kind of feel like they're in a bit of a danger zone right here because now you're down 3 scores, and I know we're in the first half, but the way this offense hasn't been able to generate anything, you feel like they probably need to get something going on this drive, right?
Yeah, and sometimes I overuse that this is an important possession, but I think this has to be the possession where they come up with an answer because only a few teams in league history ever come back from a 4-score deficit. And if they don't score here, that's what they could be facing the next time they get the ball.
Now this one complete downfield on the left side. And they get 17 more on that one and another first down.
First down. 1st and 10 at the 47-yard line.
21-0 our score after 1.
Bengals 21, Lions nothing.
This offense finding its legs now. Here's another 1st and 10. Operating from the gun. Bryant looking for his running back, and he's got him. And they're going to get this down to about the 37.
Just about every quarterback is trained to really look downfield first before you come back and make a nice, safe throw. And in this case, that's exactly what he did. Found his running back, let him create some space, and it turned out to be a nice play for the offense.
Okay, break.
Options galore here, second and a few inches. Here's a handoff to Swift running left. Trying to find a lane, but instead he'll get back to the line of scrimmage. And no more.
Brought down at the line of scrimmage.
They'll try and run here with Swift. And this time they were ready for him as they'll stop him right at the line of scrimmage. They'll be marked inches short. No gain on the play, and that's going to lead them to fourth down. Remember, that was less than a yard. That was not a full yard. That defense, they were having none of it.
Yeah, the surge the offensive line was seeking actually occurred on the other side of the ball. They reestablished the line of scrimmage and stuffed them.
On fourth down, Bryant. This pass outright to Arcega-Whiteside. And they'll wind up getting this one all the way down inside the 20. A big pickup there, 20 yards as they convert on fourth. Well, that's some kind of effort. When he caught it, I doubted if he could get there. Knew it was going to be close, but credit him. Really good effort.
How about the rack on that play, the run after catch? But most of the time we think of it as just being an open field and picking up yardage. Sometimes you have to be real physical in order to gain the yardage you need for a first down.
From the red zone now, they'll look to throw. Firing quickly here, and that's complete. And the Lions are going to have a first and goal coming up as he's out of bounds at the 2. So that was a very nice play, Charles, from a very speedy cornerback.
And that is a situation where in a defender's mind, you just have to pick a point on the football field and think to yourself, I'm going to sprint full out and meet him at that point. Sometimes it works. Sometimes it doesn't, but he had to play diagnosed perfectly there.
Yeah, the final tally, as told by Next Gen Stats, he hit 21.5 miles per hour. Whoa. Swift is into the end zone. Touchdown, Lions. Well, they move the ball down the field through the air, Charles, and then finally they get the running game involved, and it works to perfection. Touchdown.
But, partner, I kept waiting for that running game to come into play, and actually saved it until the very end. Touchdown goes on the stat sheet, but you and I both know, and he knows as well, his teammates airing it out made this a successful drive.
Now as they line up and kick this one away. And there will not be a return here. It's a touchback, and it'll come out to the 25-yard line. The Bengals drive about to get going. So for this offense, Charles, remember drive 1 made it to the end zone. Drive 2 resulted in the touchdown as well. Now they'll try to make it 3 for 3.
Yeah, and you know, they told us all week that this was the plan and this is what they wanted to execute. But did they really believe it would happen this well, this efficiently? I know they'll take it, and afterwards they'll say, there was never a doubt in our minds we were going to be successful in this one.
A 3-yard loss to start the drive. They'll look to make that up and then some on 2nd and 13.
11.
Burrow looking to pass. James has got it. Complete.
Burrow's pass. Caught by number 11. A 12-yard gain on the play. And it's third down.
On 2, ready?
For the Lions, an extra DB in the game now here on 3rd down.
11.
They give to Mixon to try to pick it up. And he's able to get the first before he's taken down at the 36. A third down gain of 3 yards, and that'll be enough.
I haven't met a football team yet that runs the ball successfully that doesn't talk about having an attitude to be a running football team, right? You got to be able to put your nose in there, smell where the first down sticks are, and get there.
11 MT. Stop.
Throwing now, Burrow on first down. He finds his man, complete. That's James. So the completion good for just 3. And that's going to bring up second down.
Brings up 2nd and 7 at the 39-yard line.
On 2.
They don't need to run another play here before the 2-minute warning. Let's see if they do it anyway. Burrow going to fake to Mixon and now look to throw. Over the middle, complete. It's James. And he'll go down, but not before getting this inside the 30. A reminder, once we hit halftime, as we do all season, we'll send it down to Jonathan Coachman in Orlando. He'll have all the stats and scores from games in progress around the NFL.
The best multitasker in the business, the coach.
They will throw on first down with Burrow. That's complete out right to the tight end, Trimble. And they'll have it in the red zone before he crosses over out of bounds. This game not quite as good as the last, but still over 40 yards between the two.
He's certainly done a nice job spreading the field on this drive, and here he finds his big tight end for good yardage. And that's what you have to do. Keep defenses guessing about where you're going to go with the football.
So from inside the 20, here's 1st and 10 at the 18. Inside the red zone here, they'll look to throw. Into the hands of London. Touchdown! Drake London, an 18-yard touchdown grab. As his guys are able to push that lead out a bit further.
The catch and the touchdown, they were the end result of a terrific route run by the receiver.
Extra point by McPherson, up and good. And the lead now to 3 touchdowns at 21.
Lions 7.
After the touchdown, McPherson on to kick this one away. He will return this from deep in the end zone. And only able to get this to the 19, so probably... for the touchback. The Detroit offense ready to begin their drive. A long drive last time out for this offense, Charles. If you remember, they started basically in the shadows of their own end zone, marched it down the field, and a lot of that was through the passing game.
And partner, as a former defensive back, I'm having almost a physical reaction watching what's happening right now. But let's give credit where it's due, because they've done an excellent job moving the ball through the air. Secondary getting picked apart pass by pass. Obviously, they need to make some adjustments there on the back end.
Yeah, because offensively, we know that they're not going to be shy about throwing that football. Open man right side is Shark. And they work this well upfield across the 45. That'll wind up a gain of 27 on the catch and run.
Now that's the kind of big play you'd like to see. This first half, it hasn't gone their way, and they could use a shot in the arm, something to perk them up a bit. And they get one here in the passing game.
Creeping up on a minute to play in this first half. On 1st and 10, it's Swift. And he'll get what he can up the middle, 3 yards. That'll bring up second down.
Yeah, I don't know if it's exactly a win-win, but if you're on offense, you'll take that kind of a run, all right? It was kind of stacked up, found a little bit of yardage, and frankly, they're pretty close to staying on schedule on offense. The playbook is still open for the coordinator.
Right back to Swift again on second down. And it's a fumble, but I believe the Lion was there to recover it. Yes, they will indeed keep possession.
Wow, that ball gets knocked free, but a teammate comes along and scoops it up. It's almost like baseball. Guys at bat, people are on base in scoring position. One guy doesn't get him home. The next guy comes through and picks him up.
And avoids the turnover. On 1st and 10, Bryant. Catch is made by Arcega-Whiteside. The Lions will use the first of their timeouts as they stop it with 16 seconds to go in half number 1.
And I don't think there's any question that this offense is going to need to hit on a few more plays like this. It's been a difficult first half for them, to say the least. And I do believe if they want to get back in this game, they need to start right now. It's kind of like making adjustments. If you try waiting to the half, it's probably too late. They need to get going right here.
Throwing on 1st down, Bryant. And that's going to be incomplete. 12 seconds left.
They have their backs up against the wall a little bit, and they come through by forcing an incompletion. Now they've got to continue to ratchet up the intensity a couple of more times and get off the field before giving up any more yardage.
Back to the air on 2nd down. Bryant. And he's going to be taken down. Back around the 35-yard line. Now a timeout taken. Perhaps a chance for one more quick play and then another timeout if they hurry. We'll see. A long way to go here on 3rd down for the 8th play of the drive. Off the play fake. Bryant. And this one dropped in the end zone. Looked like a touchdown, but not to be. And now it's 4th down.
From a defensive perspective, they had exactly what you want anytime they want to throw the football. There was pressure on the quarterback. They were getting after him, and they tightened down on the receivers and forced the incompletion.
Badgley's kick is good, and that will do it for this first half. So we've come upon halftime here in Week 17 as we'll head down to Orlando. That's where we find our man Jonathan Coachman at our EA Sports Halftime Report. Coach. And we welcome you back now. Alongside Charles Davis, I'm Brandon Gaudin, getting set for quarter number 3 here. The final 2 quarters of the NFL regular season are upon us as the second half of Week 17 is underway. And a fair catch signaled for and taken successfully. The Bengals drive about to get going. Right now, everything they touch turns to gold. This is their 4th possession. Touchdowns on their first 3 possessions. I mean, this defense, they can't seem to stop them. It's like they're on skates.
Great analogy, Brandon, because they are pushing them back.
Got a man, it's caught inside the 10. A big play there for Cincinnati. 68 yards. If there was one knock on Joe Burrow coming out of LSU, it was arm strength, but kind of put those doubts to rest right there.
And this offense has really just been humming all game long. So to me, they're just saying, we want to finish this one off in the 3rd quarter so we can coast home in the 4th. And this is just a tremendous play. Something we've seen time and again from this offense.
Well, that didn't take long. One play, and we're already looking at a 1st and goal situation. Out of the shotgun, they run with Mixon. And he bowls his way into the end zone for a Bengal touchdown.
Joe Mixon
with his second touchdown of the afternoon. And the Bengals are able to strike quickly to add on to their lead. Extra point by McPherson, up and good. And they open the lead up now to 25. After the touchdown, McPherson on to kick this one away. From the end zone, here comes Williams. And that decision to bring it out ends up not being a good one. Costs him about 5 yards as he's tackled at the 20.
At their own 20-yard line.
The Lions offense ready to kick off their next drive. CD, they certainly know the hole that they face as they begin the second half. They have to do what precious few teams have done in NFL history, and that's try to come back from a 4-possession deficit.
And, partner, you know as that team gathers, they're saying to each other, you never say never, right? Because if you're on an NFL roster, that's how you have to think. You can always come back and win a ball game. And let's face it, we saw a certain Super Bowl, a 25-point lead late that wasn't enough to put someone away. But that being said, this task is near impossible. Let's face it. And bottom line is, it officially becomes impossible if this possession is an empty one.
To throw again, Bryant. It's a short one here, complete to his tight end. And he's going to get this one across the 30-yard line. First target, first catch, and a first down.
It was a nice pickup right there, and after watching that play, I'm thinking about all the lost opportunities that they've had so far in this game. But right now, just focus on continuing to move the ball the way they did on the last play.
Oh, he's got some breathing room. And he'll take this to the other side of midfield before going out of bounds.
Sometimes it's hard to believe, but there are times this game is about patience, isn't it? Has had the game he expected, but that run there, that may get him going.
I was just going to say, maybe that gives him a little juice, because you're right, he struggled, especially in that first half.
Yeah, and I know the great ones always think to themselves, just hang in there. I'm just one big carry away from busting this open. That's a good start for him.
They go play action here on first down. That's going to be caught. Arcega-Whiteside. And he takes this just a few yards shy of the red zone before going out. Call that a very strong gain of 24.
First and 10 at the 24-yard line.
One back in the backfield, he'll get the carry. He's able to work free for about 6 down to the 18.
They've created a nice sustained drive off of plays like that. A nice strong run there that keeps them advancing the ball.
The last run got 6, now 2nd and 4. They go back to the ground, this time Swift. They got half of what he needed there, 2 yards. And it'll bring up a 3rd and 2 more.
Not too many offenses want to turn down long drives, but when you're down what they are, they've got to pay it off with some points.
On 3rd down, here comes Swift. And able to get him down, but he does reach the 5. They're able to convert on 3rd down, and that sets up a 1st and goal. Well, they gave themselves options there on the 3rd down play, and were able to convert on that RPO.
It shows a lot of trust with the guy taking the snap, doesn't it? Because you're counting on him to make the right reads and give the ball where it's supposed to go. And he did on that play.
Give him 2 yards on that one. 2nd and goal now.
Pick up of 2. Brings up 2nd and goal.
They'll stay on the ground with Swift. And he is into the end zone. Touchdown, Detroit. DeAndre Swift with touchdown number 15 on the year and 2nd of the game. And the Lions get a bit closer. Extra point by Badgley, up and good. And that'll cut the lead down to 18.
Lions 17.
Out is the kickoff unit as they run up and send this one away. Well, from deep in the end zone, he's going to bring this out.
The Bengals take over first and 10 at their own 15-yard line.
The Bengals drive about to get going. Still operating with a comfortable lead despite the score a moment ago as they begin first and 10. Off the play fake, here's Burrow. This pass is caught by London. And mark him down way up close to the 40 at the 39. That one goes for 24 yards.
And while we may be looking at the scoreboard, this offense certainly is not, because they're showing no signs of backing down, even with a 3-score lead here in the third quarter. I think they keep taking their shots. They've seen blown leads happen throughout this league. They don't want to fall victim to it themselves.
From up near the 40 now after the big play to start, here's another first and 10. Inside handoff to Mixon. They find some open, taking it right down Broadway. And all the way in for a Cincinnati score.
Touchdown.
Well, I guess when you look back on it, it was just a matter of time until he popped a big one like that. And, you know, at halftime, you and I discussed it. They had done a nice job on him in the first half. But there were a couple of occasions where it felt like he might wiggle out of traffic and take it to the house. Finally here in the second half, that got done.
McPherson on for the point after. And they open the lead up now to 25 points.
Makes the score. Bengals 42. Lions 17. McPherson to kick off for Cincinnati.
After the touchdown, McPherson on to kick this one away. From the end zone, here comes Williams. And the decision to bring it out, not a good one, as he's tackled at the 15.
In this position, trying to get back into the game, teams are looking for a spark from their special teams. That's not what they got, though. They got a setback, and they have a long field to cover if they want to try and put points on the board.
The Detroit offense ready to begin their drive. Well, we haven't exactly been treated to a nail-biter in this one, CD, and if they cannot score here, this one's pretty much all but over. And now another turnover as this one's intercepted. And the Bengals are going to take possession of the football. Well, to be blunt, not a whole lot has gone right for this defense in this ball game, but that's something right there. Still in the third quarter. It would take something around miracle territory for a comeback, but maybe that's a start, Charles.
It certainly is, and they're definitely showing that there's some fight still left in them. Hasn't been a banner day, but they're trying their best to put that disappointment behind them and find ways to make plays.
So first and 10, and if they score on this drive, might have to start digging in our second half blowout material. And he can only manage to get a couple. Second and 8 coming up. With that last carry, he's now over 8,000 career rushing yards.
All right, big applause. Lots of clapping for this one, right? Think about it this way. Along the way, he has passed Hall of Famer Terrell Davis, and now he's starting to approach another Hall of Famer in Larry Zonka.
The last run good for 2. Here's second and 8.
11, 11, 11, 11.
It's Mixon on the counter. Oh, and that one well designed as he'll take this down to the 30-yard line. 113 yards rushing for him here as he starts to draw closer to a 1,000-yard campaign.
Well, you certainly have to give a little credit here because they're playing this game now at their pace. This is ball control football, sustained runs, taking their time, and making it work.
So first and 10 now from the 30. Again, it's Mixon. A short gain here, maybe a yard to the 29.
And this is why aggressive defensive coordinators love to blitz. It wreaks havoc because they end up taking their attention to the blitzers, freed up the D lineman to make the play.
Here's 2nd and 9, just a yard on that last run. Play action. It's Burrow. Open man left side. It's the tight end Trimble. And he is out of bounds, but first he gets it inside the 10 to the 7. A well-executed 22-yard gain.
This is just more of the same. This defense has had no answer on a lot of these throws. They've let these receivers run wild, and here's another completion for good yardage.
Running left, it's Mixon. Down at the 2. Broke through the first contact, but ultimately stopped short of the goal line. Given 4 on the carry there, and 2nd and goal.
That's good power football on 1st and goal. A lot of teams will throw from there, but that's a nice job to chew up a few more yards and get yourself closer to the goal line.
So the ball position now at the 3. Here's 2nd and goal. Another try for Mixon. And he's going to be stopped here for no gain. And that's going to take us to the end of the 3rd quarter play. Back now at Ford Field. A lot of folks starting to make their way to the parking lot. Their guys trail big here to begin quarter number 4.
Here we go.
3rd and goal as they look to pour some more salt in the wound.
11 Thomas.
Mixon will take this one in. Touchdown, Cincinnati.
Touchdown, Cincinnati.
And they would not be denied on the ground, powering it in just one play after they got stopped short.
And how about how many tight ends are on the field? Because in today's NFL, we think of the tight end more as a pass catcher. For this group, they tell them you've got to be able to run block to stay on this team. And they committed to it and got it done right there.
17. Evan McPherson to kick off for Cincinnati.
After the touchdown, McPherson on to kick this one away. From the end zone, here comes Williams. And he's able to get this across the 20, but not by much as he's marked down officially at the 21. The Lions offense ready to kick off their next drive. Where we stand right now in the 4th quarter, this one pretty much out of reach. And, Charles, I know they're going to be disappointed about several things with this ball game, but the self-inflicted. He's got a man complete. And they've got this down to about the 12-yard line. Quite a show of arm strength right there. That was in the air for a long time, and it was on target, too.
And that's how you start a drive, because you know they had this play in their back pocket, waiting for the right time to unleash it. And, boy, did they pick the right opportunity. Unleashed it big time, and that was also a big-time throw.
A real field flipper there as all of a sudden they've got a first down in the red zone. They'll run right here with Swift. Down to the 6-yard line on a pickup of 6 as he gets halfway to the goal line.
Not a ton of room available on that one, but he made use of what space was available and gained decent yardage.
6 yards on that last play. Here's 2nd and 4. Once again, it's Swift. A 5-yard gain there makes it 1st and goal. So a decent deficit at this stage in the second half. 4-down territory?
No doubt about it. There's not a chance that he hasn't looked ahead and said, okay, if we gain yardage on this play, this is what we'll do going forward. If we lose yardage, this is the play call that I'll have ready.
Okay, ready.
So 3 plays already 1st and goal, and they are wasting little time. Here's Swift. And he is not going to get through here on try number 1. They stop him at the goal line.
Stop short of the goal line.
They'll run with Swift. And he'll get into the end zone. Touchdown, Detroit. DeAndre Swift punching it in from a yard away. And the Lions get a small measure of revenge as they cut into this fourth quarter deficit. Extra point by Badgley, up and good. And that will cut this lead down to 25.
Lions 24. Jack Fox to kick off for the Lions.
Here are the Lions now as they line up and kick this one away. Now this will be returned from deep in the end zone. And only able to get this to the 19, so probably should have opted for the touchback.
Here we go, here we go.
The Bengals drive about to get going. Well, they don't really need the points here, Charles, given what we're looking at on the scoreboard, but they've scored on 3 consecutive possessions, 3 consecutive drives, and I'm sure that they would like to keep that streak going here and continuing to pull it on.
And things have gotten that way in the NFL, haven't they, partner? Because in the old days, people would, they'd get off the gas a little bit, right? But now, people continue to accelerate, but we'll see what they decide to do as they come out for this one. But the way that this game has gone, they've got to be awfully happy with their execution overall.
Now Burrow on first down. Looking left side, and he's got a man. That's James. And all the way in for a Cincinnati score. Well, obviously, Charles, no more points were needed, but some teams just can't resist the urge to keep adding on, and they did just that here in the fourth quarter.
And we've certainly been on the call to see many teams do exactly that over the years, Brandon. Some to even more impressive degrees. In the end, it always comes back to there's still a defense out there, and it's still a game of NFL football. So if you don't like what's happening, it's up to you to get them stopped.
Extra point by McPherson, up and good. And this one was over a while ago as they just add on to that big lead.
McPherson to kick off for Cincinnati.
After the touchdown, McPherson on to kick this one away. From the end zone, here comes Williams. And he'll be stopped right around where he would have been had he gone down to a knee, maybe a yard shy of there at the 24.
Let's go now.
The Detroit offense ready to begin their drive. Well, we said it at halftime that they would need a nearly perfect second half to erase that deficit that they were facing, CD. But unfortunately, the second half has pretty much been a carbon copy of the first.
Yeah, that early lead was almost insurmountable the way their opponent was playing. And partner, they do have some good news, though. This one is getting close to being over, and they can try and hit the reset button starting tomorrow.
He's airing it out for Williams. And at the 7-yard line, the catch is made. And in for the Lions touchdown. So still throwing here in the fourth quarter with a pretty sizable lead, and now that lead even more sizable. And if nothing else here, CD, a chance to pile on some stats before this one wraps up, and he did just that.
Brandon, convention tells us it's time for them to get off the gas a little bit, right? But you and I both know the receivers don't want them to because, as you noted, this is their chance to pile on the stats. If they got their way, they try to get every single spot in the depth chart points before this game is over.
He will return this from deep in the end zone. And in hindsight, probably should have taken a knee as he only gets this out to the 16-yard line.
Here we go.
The Bengals drive about to get going. They've got to be feeling very comfortable and confident here with this lead in the football here in the fourth quarter, Charles. And I don't think that they need to score again, but it seems like this offense is just getting better as the game goes on. They've scored on their last 2 drives.
Certainly feels like a chance for them to continue to have some fun out there, doesn't it? Game's already decided, as you noted, so they can continue to play loose, break out some other concepts, maybe run a few trick plays, get other people involved. Heck, even go deep on one of these first snaps just because they can.
They'll try to eat some clock with Mixon. And he's up past the 10 to about the 12. They get 5 yards on the run there. It's still left staring at a 3rd and about 14. At this stage of the game, with the score where it is, the key here is stay in bounds, and he did just that. Not by a huge margin, but he stayed in.
And those come up in what we like to call winning edge meetings. The things that you have to do, late game situations, kicking situations, doesn't matter what it is, the things you have to do to win a game, and that comes up in that meeting, then you practice it. They've got to be happy to see it executed and being able to stay in bounds and work the clock.
Now on 3rd and long, they'll look to throw. And he goes down. It's a sack. They get him back at his own 3-yard line. Julian Okwara in there to get him for a loss of 9 yards, and that also leads to 4th down. The Bengals bring out their punter now. And no room for error here as his first punt comes from deep in his own end zone. And he's able to get it out of there, and this is a pretty good kick. That's pulled in at the 32. And we are inside of 2 minutes left in this lopsided affair. So the Lions in possession of the football as we welcome you back. They've got a 1st and 10 as they search for a late score. The Lions offense ready to kick off their next drive. Well, this game, it has had no shortage of offense. They've been able to put up a decent amount of points on this side, Charles. They just have not been able to keep pace with the other offense they're going against here.
Yeah, that's a good way of pointing things out because now it's not a total loss because, as you said, they've scored some points, so there's some plays they can build on, moments where the game plan actually worked. But overall, though, they were just out personnel. They were going up against a team that's playing at an elite level.
Now here's a throw that's complete. Well, he's going to be out of bounds, but not before he takes it inside the 40. They'll get 17 that time, and the Lions have a 1st down.
Lions, 1st down. 1st and 10 at the 36-yard line.
On the ball, now!
Off play action. Bryant. It's complete. And they're going to be set up down around the 15-yard line. A good pickup there of 22. But this game well in hand, perhaps we are seeing the coverage lighten up a little bit as they got burned there a bit for a 1st down.
But we certainly know the coach isn't happy along the sideline because he certainly wants him to finish this one out.
Touchdown! DeAndre Swift, a 15-yard touchdown grab. And the Lions are able to make some inroads here to that deficit. CD, it seemed like they were so focused on the guys out wide, they forgot about him out of the backfield.
That's a really good point because you've got to communicate, and oftentimes when you start counting receivers, that's exactly what you do. You start from the widest receiver, work your way inside. Who gets lost sometimes? The back in the backfield. That's exactly what happened there.
He got into the end zone.
Jack Fox to kick off for the Lions.
Set now to kick this one away, and off it goes. Well, from deep in the end zone, he's going to bring this out. And in hindsight, probably should have taken a knee as he only gets this out to the 16-yard line.
16-yard line.
The Bengals drive about to get going. Well, CD, this is the ideal situation. The 4th quarter, you come out here late, not much time on the clock with a comfortable lead, and put the final nail in the coffin.
Yeah, this offense, all game long, they've been powerful, they've been dangerous. You're exactly right. They can end this one on their own terms.
Here we go.
So now they have to contend with 2nd and 13 after the first down run goes backwards. Now it looks like he'll throw here. And now he'll fire deep downfield for James. And that's caught at the 25. And he's going to be taken down, but there's a penalty flag in the backfield. Is this a hold, or did they rough the quarterback? After the penalty, a fresh set of downs. It's 1st and 10. Now Burrow. And he takes a shot on the release as this will be incomplete. They're still throwing the football here. Now, obviously, the incompletion stops the clock. That's a bad thing.
Feels to me like they're just keeping them honest on defense because you know they're going to stack the line of scrimmage and try and stop any type of a running play. Short little passes may work in exchange of running plays. Keep the clock moving, keep them moving.
I guess you're right. If they can get some first downs, just as good as running the football. After the incomplete pass, here now is 2nd and 10. Burrow will throw. He rifles one that's intercepted. Picked by Ronnie Harrison. And the Lions are going to get the football here as he gets this up past the 20-yard line. Their passing game has been spectacular this afternoon. Finally, a win for the defense.
You think maybe there was an adjustment there? Finally gained a measure of, I don't even know if you call it revenge, but got a play done against him, and that's been difficult for them all game long.
Now a play fake here on 1st down. And a big loss here as he's taken down. But as this defense walks off the field, they can do so with their heads held high. What a performance by the offense, too. I mean, really, Charles, just complete domination on both sides of the football here in this one.
It certainly was, and I think both sides compete against each other all the time. You go to each other in practice, obviously your training camps, your off-season. But on game day, you both want to show your best, and I think that's what we saw.